Hey, it's Marilla and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to answer the #1 question that I keep getting asked on all of my money piece highlight videos, which is, how do I create a money piece with a side part? Well, today I'm going to answer that question for you, and I'm also going to finish off this money piece with a side part with some gorgeous golden highlights. But before we get started, make sure you give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a tutorial. Now let's go ahead and get started. So my model is ready to brighten up her overall look, and she has some previously highlighted hair with just toner, so no permanent hair color. We got a little bit of new growth going on here, and you can see she's about a natural level 5, and we're just going for something brightened up, still low maintenance. And she does want a money piece, so something to consider though, she has that side part. So I'm actually going to figure out exactly where her hair naturally parts, and then also naturally parts on through the side. So very similar to my other money piece hair videos. If you want to check those out, you can tap on the link in the description. But I'm basically pinching the hair and letting the hair tell me where it wants to live. When you do this, this is going to allow for the proper amount of hair according to the density that you're working with. So by grabbing the hair and then pinching it, you kind of see where it naturally parts, and then you're going to clean it up with your rat tail comb and then just section that away so you have a nice clean working space. Once you've determined what that money piece is going to look like, or the sectioning of it, I'm going to center my foiling or my highlighting according to her part. So I'm working a little off to the side here. So I'm just going to comb that hair up and then weave my highlights right on down so that there's no hair underneath that. And this just gives me a nice clean working space. And you can go ahead and apply and highlight really however you like. I personally like to do lots of back-to-back baby lights because it diffuses that line of demarcation as it starts to grow out, and also giving my color melt a really nice end result. The difference between doing a baby light versus a slice is that typically a slice is going to give a really harsh line when you're doing these weaves. So that's kind of why I like the weaving pattern over the slices. It just gives a softer line. So I'm going to go in with a few back-to-back baby lights going on here. Now you can see she does have some previously lightened pieces, so I am being very careful. I decided to go in with Beyond Bond Lightener, which is a dual bond technology lightener, so it's going to give me that extra protection that's needed for any overlap that I might have. So what you see here that I'm putting on the ends is a nourishing mask. I just put on a little bit of conditioner to hold those blonde pieces in place without overlapping any lightener. So once I have those 3 back-to-back baby lights, this is where I'm going to start to incorporate mini subsections going on. So I've taken a slice and then weaved right on top of that. So there is hair in between now, in between these foils. So I'm going to continue to work right on through there and just do a couple of these, and then I'm going to finish off with that teasy light. So the reason why I do this is because I like that gradual effect of boldness going into a more of a rooted effect and incorporating again that brown base right underneath. So I do want some contrast and some depth to transition into the rest of the hair. So this is just my personal preference and my technique that I use in all of my money pieces, but totally up to you how you want to transition. Some people like a major contrast here, so you can just baby light with no hair in between these foils for the maximum amount of contrast and maximum amount of boldness going on. So for this teasy light here, and just taking that entire section, you can see all of that brown going on. And I personally like to put the lightener onto the hair 4 inches or so away and then stroke up the lightener, giving me the most diffused line. So once I got that top section going on, I'm gonna work on through the sides. So apologies, the film was a little blurry here. I was recording totally by myself for this, but I promise if you just give it a second, it'll start to clear up. So for the sides, I'm just gonna comb right on up and again, weave that hair towards me. This just gives me the closest result possible. And you can even see here, there's like a little tiny baby hair that I missed. So I'm actually gonna get that in a second with a little micro foil. So don't be afraid to, isolate one little baby hair. Don't try to fit it in. It's just gonna create more of a mess for yourself. And then I'm just gonna go in and do a couple more, or this entire section really all back to back. I want it to be pretty bold, and she does have fine hair. So, having any subsections in between here isn't really gonna do me any good because again, her hair is really fine. So that's why I'm going in with those 2 back to backs. And then also keep in mind, this is the side that has more hair because her hair was parted on her left side. So that's really why I have these little baby foils kind of going on. So for that last section, I weave right on top with only 1 foil having that little bit of subsection going on. So very little hair left out in between that foil. Now, once I get both of the sides going on, I am now gonna work on through the back. So this is a full highlight that I decided to go in with, but it's actually went by pretty quickly. Couple of reasons. A, she does have fine hair, but also B, this is just a really quick way to get in lots of brightness without a ton of foils going on. Now for the back side, I am leaving a little bit of that subsection to give me some background color and doing those baby lights and wrapping this foil straight on up. I personally like foiling this way because it gets a little bit closer to the root area and it's much easier with a little bit of practice to get these baby lights in right around that hairline. Because her hair's fine, I wasn't too concerned about taking it right onto that hairline, plus she doesn't wear her hair up all the time. She's more concerned about what it looks like when it's down and coming towards her face. So to complete this hairline in the back, I'm just doing 3 foils of baby lights. And they're not even so much taken all the way to the root, they're slightly rooted. So again, we're not looking for something super high maintenance here, we're looking for low maintenance. So a little bit of rootage was perfect for her. From this point on, I'm going to continue on with the same pattern of taking diagonals, so diagonal backs on each of the sides, but with teasy lights. And then to complete that section, I'm then going to take a horizontal section. I wanted just a nice brightened blended effect going on here with enough background. So we didn't mind her color that she had on her ends. She definitely wanted to stay warm, but I am needing to do some overlap here. So that's why I love using that Beyond Bond, because I know her hair is going to be protected as I work throughout this hair. So a couple tips when doing teasy lights is to make sure you're working with clean sections. And I'm actually weaving this hair right on out, pulling it out 90 degrees and then teasing it and using a color board covered with the foil to do my application. I also use my comb to comb through the lightener through those mids and ends and then reapply to make sure I have the proper amount of saturation, and I typically trifold. So to complete the entire back section, when I get towards the top, I went in slightly diagonal to finish it off, and you can see how those foils went in diagonally. So you can choose which direction you need to go to, but if you need an idea on placement and the effects they create, you can check out my other video on 4 foil placements and the effects they create to thoroughly understand what the diagonals will do depending on how the hair naturally falls. For the sides, I'm going in with horizontal sections, and these are all done with really uneven weaves. And the more uneven your section is when doing these teasy lights, the better. It's just going to give the most blended effect, but you can also see they're pretty chunky highlights towards the front because I wanted more blonde in the front. Keep in mind her hair is fine, so basically the more thicker the section, the more brightness that you're going to get with this result on this hair type. Once I get these foils put in, I'm then going to go in between some of the foils and just surface hair paint just to add a little bit more brightness throughout the ends, and then process her for about 30 minutes. A couple tips when removing your teasylights is you're just gonna remove these foils right at the bowl, wet the hair down, shampoo it so you can stop that processing, and then you're gonna add in a lot of conditioner and then go in with a wet brush or a detangling brush made for wet hair and then gently remove the tangles. Sometimes you do need to take them back to your station and do this, but I find that by adding in a mask to the hair and detangling works perfectly. Now for her toner, I'm only doing a color melt right onto that money piece, and I'm applying it just on her root area and throughout the sides on the root area, and I'm gonna isolate that and let that process and then apply my toner in the back. So for this formula, I'm using 7N right onto that root area. Again, I'm just tapping that right on into that money piece that I sectioned out. And then for the back section, as well as the ends on the money piece, I'm using 9GG. And both of these formulas are mixed at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 9 volume developer. And I'm processing this for a full 15 minutes right at the shampoo bowl. Couple tips when toning your money piece is always leave it last and apply your toner in other areas first. Reason is you want to keep an eye on this because it is your statement piece. And also don't be afraid to blend in your root melt into that money piece. So I do this by taking my comb, and you can further go in and detail where you want that root melt to be and then reapply and use your hands to blend. And here's the final result of my money piece with the side part finished off with some gorgeous golden highlights. So just to give you a little recap, I went in with Camera Professional Beyond Bond Lightener at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 20 volume developer. And then once that was done processing, I went in with a color melt formula right onto that money piece with 7N at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 9 volume developer, and then blended that right into 9GG 1:2 with 9 volume developer. So I really hope you enjoyed this hair tutorial, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. And comment down below what your favorite part of this entire video was, or maybe your aha moment, and I'll be sure to respond. And if you like content like this, but maybe in shorter form, be sure to check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and even on Facebook, all under Mirella Manelli. And be sure to check out some more free resources at morellamanelli.com. And there's a way for you to get onto my newsletter so you can even get more free education right to your inbox. And I'm also getting ready to launch my Upstyle course, Learn How to Upstyle in 7 Days. So you might want to get onto that wait list. So if you really want to learn how to upstyle, the foundational elements to upstyling in small digestible videos, be sure to get on that wait list and you'll be the first to know before it launches, and you'll get a little special discount code. And if you love listening to podcasts, be sure to check out Hair B&B. It's a podcast about hair, beauty, and business. I cover things like how to become a successful hairstylist, social media tips, marketing strategies, and how to even become an educator, and so much more. You can find it on all streaming platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Oh yes, and one more thing, be sure to check out my other hair tutorials on this channel, and you can find all of the links that I mentioned in this video right down below, including the formula and links to my blog. And yeah, I think that's it. So I will see you in the next video.